everybody. Jeff Antoniuk here from JazzWire. Guided listening. We're going to listen to some Miles Davis and the song I Fall in Love Too Easily. This is actually one of the 14 songs we're going to be working on at the JazzWire Summer Summit here in the Washington, D.C. area, coming up this July 24th through 27th. So we have 70 spots. We have 15 faculty and staff. I think we have 3 spots left open for bass and drums. So if you're an adult musician interested in playing with us, we're sold out for guitar, piano, horns, all that. We've got a waiting list though, so feel free to write in case we have a cancellation. And we have scholarship spots for young people ages 16 to 21. So if you're interested in a scholarship or you know someone who is, let us know. So yeah, we pick 14, by we, I mean me, artistic director, picks 14 songs every year and a nice cross-section of jazz tunes, Brazilian stuff, funk stuff, everything else. And so this is the ballad we're going to be working on. So I'm excited to dig into this recording from 7 Steps to Heaven, that classic album on Columbia, I think it was. And I tell you what, if you happen to be in upstate New York, Plattsburgh, New York, Saranac, New York, I'm going to be there this weekend. I don't, what are the dates? Oh my gosh. 17, 18, 19, something like that of May. So drop me a line. Let me know if you're up there. I'm doing a great concert series with the Alan Blackman Trio and Rogério Baccato, wonderful percussionist and drummer, coming from New York for that one. So I've got that coming up. I'm going to be in Minneapolis, got 2 gigs and doing a workshop at Schmidt Music on May 30th and 31st. I'm going to be up in Edmonton, Canada at the end of June. So a lot of great stuff coming up. I would love to see you at a show or a workshop. So, okay, let's jump in here to this recording. So wonderful ballad. And on the recording, it's Victor Feldman on piano, Ron Carter on bass, it's Miles on trumpet. I think it's Frank Butler on piano. And George Coleman is on the album, but I don't think he's on this track. So it's just quartet, Miles and the trio. It's a beautiful ballad, one of my very favorites. And playing ballads is a whole thing. It's not, you know, they're the same chords, major, minor, dominant chords. Sure, it's the same instruments and all that. But what we can do with the time feel, how we play with the time, how we subdivide the time, how we play over the time, all possibilities. There's a lot there, and playing a ballad is not for the faint of heart. It really takes, you know, some knowing. And same with listening. I mean, it's so lovely to listen to a well-performed ballad, but what's really going on? There's really a ton going on. This is actually one of the songs we're working on in the blue community, the more advanced folks inside JazzWire. So if you'd like to check out the 3 lessons I'm doing on this tune, sign up for the free trial or join us inside JazzWire subscription. And we'll go from there. I'd really love to see you inside JazzWire. So I tell you what, let's jump into it. Miles Davis and his trio, I Fall in Love Too Easily. Okay, so a little intro to set things up, piano and bass mostly. Miles in harmon mute, can't mistake that. And it's just duo, and they're playing out of time, meaning Victor Feldman on piano is following Miles. Oh, cool. So that was the first 4 measures of the tune. So the band didn't come in till measure 5 in tempo. Let's actually listen to that again. That's pretty cool. So this is not the tune yet. This is an intro. So when Miles comes in, we're at the top. There's our second measure. Again, we're not in time. Third measure. Fourth measure. That's cool. I could hear Victor Feldman setting up the time for Ron Carter and Frank Butler to come in. Interesting. So now we're certainly in time. 2, 3, 4. And Miles is playing the melody, but he's really changing some of the notes, right? Stretching notes out longer than they're supposed to be. Added a note there. Added a note in between. So listen to Ron Carter. So he's mostly playing half notes. 1, 2, 1. There's some quarter notes in there, but it's mostly a half note motion, right? Frank Butler moves to sticks. He was on brushes to start with. So we're totally in time. Okay, so now this is a slow 4 feel. This is like slow swing. Very slow swing quarter notes on the drums. And Ron is more or less walking at this tempo of 60, 65, pretty slow. So it's so beautiful, but that sound and that piercing quality, and Miles, like there's a lot of energy. I don't know if it's aggressive, but it's not subtle and lovely and light and obviously beautiful, yet it's beautiful, right? Oh, did you hear that? Frank Butler. So now his hi-hat is on the ands. 1 and 2 and 3. It sounds like the song's going by twice as fast, doesn't it? It's not. It's still going by very slowly. They're doing an implied double time or a double time feel. So it's a way to create some energy and the feeling like it's moving ahead, but it's actually not moving any faster. Interesting. So Miles is kind of quoting the melody here. Is he playing the head out? No, so he's still soloing. Whew. Man. So it's grooving now. Like it's like, for real swinging, right? It's become a medium swing tune. Even though it's still a ballad in tempo. And right there, they shifted back to the ballad feel 2 before the end. Very interesting. You hear that? He went from a ballad, 2 measures of ballad, and now back to this implied double time. Dang, da-dang, da-dang, da-dang. And Ron is playing these embellished quarter notes. Dang, da-dang, boo-da, ba-dang, ba-dang. So he's adding forward motion even though he's playing those quarter notes, right? It's highly embellished quarter notes, but the underlying pulse is quarter notes. That's the way to think about it. Victor Feldman solos, single lines, and then chord solo stuff, how he's going back and forth between that sound. Chords. And we shifted back to ballad feel again. But now he's got the double time again. They've changed feel easily 8 or 10 times in 4.5 minutes. So there's a lot going on. And now it's more swinging again, right? And that's the way Victor's playing. He's playing with these snap and rhythms, so the rhythm section is right there joining him. Single line. Single line with some octaves. So all these texture changes inside the piano solo. Chords. It's all together, right? Going back and forth. Really amazing. So middle of the chorus. And Miles comes in there, and the rhythm section shifts back to the ballad feel. But this is the exact same tempo that the song has been the entire time. The tempo hasn't changed, the feel has changed. Interesting. Man, the notes that Miles picks. And how legato he's playing, like how long he's holding the notes, really milking his tone. Man, yeah. So trying to, analyze Miles, it's, and think like we're going to get somewhere like super obvious, like, yeah, I don't know about that. But think about Miles and how he would hold those notes so long, longer than you'd expect, slowing things down. And then he'd hit a note so much harder than makes sense in a ballad. Bang, right? He would hold a note and he would be piercing. But it's beautiful. It's emotion, right? So this is all serving emotion. So there were so many things. Notes so much longer than we'd expect. Notes so much shorter than we'd expect. He played things so much louder than made sense. And then he would play things so impossibly soft and vulnerable. These opposites, right? Think about the rhythm section being barely moving in the ballad context and swinging as hard as anything swings in the same ballad. And again, the tempo never changed. How they interpreted the tempo changed. Think about Victor Feldman's solo, right? Of single lines, octaves and sixths and things like that, and then, the full two-hand chord kind of approach. So much going on in this little 6-minute recording. And when we listen to any great ballad recording, we're going to hear things like this. Now, this is, what year is this? I'm not even sure. So now, ballad recordings from the 20s or 30s or 40s, maybe we're going to hear less going on. It's a little more straightforward, let's say. Perhaps it was meant to be dance music or music on the radio. So this is art music. This is everybody in the band is co-creating this. It's not just the Miles show or the Victor Feldman show, right? I mean, what was going on with Ron Carter and the bass? We could take the piano and the trumpet away, and I could listen to Ron Carter play with drums. And what he was playing was so impressive. There was so much there. Of course, it's harder to hear, as always. So yeah, playing in a ballad is a big deal. So that's what I love doing ballads at the Jazzwire Summer Summit when we have, by the way, we're going to have 10 small groups. We have 10 full small groups. We have 10 drummers, 10 bass players, 10 guitar players, 10 piano players. We have 3 horns in each group. Each group of 7, a 7-person small group, kind of an Art Blakey setup, has a faculty leader. And so working in that setting and getting to talk about how to really play a ballad, so how to get the rhythm section coming up with these different feels, an implied double time swing, an implied half time. Soloists, what do we do about that? When the band shifts gears, what do we do? Do we just keep doing what we were going to do anyway? Well, ideally not. The topic of conversation changed. What you going to do about it? Well, okay, we need to talk about that. What about the comping? Should the comping change? Absolutely. It's a different feel. So there's so much to talk about. Playing a ballad is such a rich thing, and there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to analyze. There's a lot to deal with. But it's all so that we can make an emotional statement. So sure, it's great if we came out of the womb knowing how to play our instrument in an emotional way. Don't know too many people who that's the case for. So we study with this stuff, right? We practice it. Every great marquee name musician I know, and I know quite a few, they practice so much, so hard, so many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours to move you emotionally. There's so much work that goes on. Please do not imagine these people are just emoting. They are emoting, but oh my God, the work that went behind it, right? Watch a professional athlete. They're not farting around out there. They spend a lot of time in the gym, on the floor, doing whatever, getting ready for that, right? So it's really interesting. So it's cool to be here with you and analyze and be really, a little bit methodical as much as we can in 10 or 15 minutes and pull apart what's going on so that those of us who are musicians, we kind of know what to go for next time. Next time I'm playing a ballad, wow, maybe I should slow down and try to play some of those long notes. Just find a rich, long note, maybe a challenging note, and let the audience sit with that. That was Miles's thing. Man, I should do that more. How about hitting a note weirdly loud? I'm sure there's a way to do that that would be alienating and bizarre, or there's the way Miles did it there. Wonder what that's about. Cool. If you're a bass player, how are you going to conjure up these different feels? You get it. So that's what we do here at Guided Listening, try to dig into this stuff and find a way to appreciate it more. I find that when I know more about the mechanics of how that movie was made, about what that author was thinking when she wrote that book, about this recording, I appreciate it more, and I appreciate the work that went into the art more. So I hope that's the case for you. So please leave comments. I'd love to know your favorite ballads. I'd love to know if there's a ballad you'd like me to do here on the channel. If there's a recording you'd like for me to do here on the channel. I love reinvestigating songs that I've been aware of and living with for 40 years. But it's also fun to be presented something new or that I haven't heard in decades and dig into it. So please let me know. And I hope I'll see you at the Summer Summit in DC. I hope I'll see you at the Canadian Summit the end of June in Edmonton, Canada. Minneapolis coming up, upstate New York. So a bunch of places for us to connect. Have a great week and hope to see you soon.